And also, I can confirm it's now recording because it's showing me how many frames it has recorded, how many frames it has to skip, and so on and so forth. So it's all working now, as long as I don't shut down that program somewhere accidentally. All right, so any questions at this point? I just graded the first homework assignment. I graded it pretty harshly, okay? So if you get a pretty low score, do not worry, you're not alone. I do it to all students, which means, it is fair. But the reason why I use a markdown scheme that is really harsh is because I want people to know what I'm expecting with this homework assignment. And this homework assignment is, 16 points? Okay, 16 points sounds like a lot, but it really is not, because it's 16 points out of all the homework assignments. All the homework assignments will probably add up to close to 400, 500, 600 points. Okay, so this is about 1/30th of all the homework assignments, or 1/20th at least of all the homework assignments. And if you remember from the syllabus, the homework assignments make up 20% of your final grade. So in the end, this one homework assignment makes up about 1% of your final grade, which is not a whole lot unless your grade is really sitting on the border, in which case I'll just kind of look back and see whether something can be done. Okay, so don't worry if you get marked on too much, but do use it as a indicator, because someone with a 0 or 4 or 6 points must have done something that is really incorrect. Okay, people who miss a few things, will probably get 8, 12, 10 points or so. So with this one, it's a good way to kind of just review what you have done, and whether it is what I'm expecting, because in the test it will be a lot more percentage. If you miss one question in the exam, which is 2 weeks from today, it will cost you a lot more points than the homework assignment. Okay, so marking down homework assignment is not a bad thing, because now you know what I'm expecting. The first thing I would do is I'm just going to do my own homework assignment. Have I done that with this class? No? Okay. So the first thing I would do is go back and do my own homework assignment. Excuse me. And also the one that is not graded. I sent you guys an email on Sunday. On Sunday. And give you a homework assignment that will not be graded. In other words, you guys should do it as a practice. But if you don't have time to do it, or you did it wrong, or you're not quite sure whether you did it wrong or not, it's not a problem, because it does not count for your grade. So let's go ahead and look at the first homework assignment, which is our multi-branch conditional statement. Okay, so this is exactly how I would do the homework assignment. First thing I would do is to right-click and save the file. But depending on the browser, you can actually click it, and your browser will ask you, do you want to open it or do you want to save it? Do not open it from inside the browser. If you did that, it will only open it as read-only, which means you cannot make any changes until you save it to an actual file location, which means you might as well just save it first and then open it from that location, which is typically what I do. So I would save it to, I would just make a new folder for today's class, 2010. Oops. Where is my new folder? I thought I just created a new folder. Okay, let's try it again. It doesn't let me create new folders. See, it displayed that, and then it immediately got away from it. Okay, well, that's fine. If I can't do it using the GUI, we'll do it on the command line. 2010-09-17, and there's only one class for today, so that would be enough. Okay, and then I can find it here. And we'll save the assignment. Okay, once I save the assignment, then you can open it from Openoffice. So go ahead and open it. One person turned in the homework assignment in a format that I could not open. The extension was XLR. I believe that is from Microsoft Works. And I could not open that file. So this person should review your grade This is the only person in the class who did not receive a grade. So the grade for this homework assignment is going to be a minus sign over 16, which means I could not assign a grade as of yet. Okay, everybody else will have a number except for this person. So I would open this file, which is exactly the way you guys have it, and open a new window, a new tab. New window, not a new tab. New window to take a look at the test case sheet. I also noticed a few kind of interesting things. I noticed that some people had to copy and paste the content from the open source format into an Excel format. I think Excel should be able to open it natively without any problems, especially 2007, do you have the latest Surface Pack with 2007?
Not sure.
Well, it's time to patch it up or install Openoffice. I would install Openoffice just to get it done once and for all. I mean, it's free for once, and I don't see any reason why not to install Openoffice. Okay? Is that okay? You just go ahead and install the latest version of Openoffice. It's free, it doesn't take up a lot of disk space, and go ahead.
I put the Mac example, one of my sticks.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine, it takes forever to open, but if it opens, it's fine.
Yeah, well, you have to get one of the faster USB thumb drives. That's what you need. Well, the problem is, the problem is they don't give you the speed rating on most USB thumb drives. I found that the best way to get to make sure that you do have a faster device is not to get a USB thumb drive, but get an SD card, or better yet, a compact flash card. With SD card, they have different classes. Like class 2 means it can handle about 2 megabytes per second of transfer. Class 4 means 4 megabytes per second. Class 10, which is the fastest one, is 10 megabytes per second. And it gets increasingly expensive when you get the higher speed grades. But the even faster ones are the compact flash cards. Compact flash cards are rated slightly differently. They basically look at the original compact flash card, what the speed is, and then they say, okay, this one is 266x, which means it is 266 times the speed of the original compact flash card. And that's mighty fast. I mean, that's like 15 megabytes per second or so, which is about the same as what you can get from an external hard drive. You would think that an external hard drive would be much faster, but because of the seek time and all the other stuff, it actually boils down to about 15-ish megabytes per second. So I would get a card reader and combine that with a compact flash card or an SD card, and you don't need it to be too big. 2 gig is probably more than sufficient. 4 gig would be fine. I have to get a big one to do the screen recording because just today I will probably record close to 4 gigabytes of material, so I have to get something that is slightly bigger. But unless you're planning to use the compact flash card for something that needs a lot of storage, you can just go get that 4 gigabyte card. Okay. All right. Oh, by the way, do not buy from Fry's when they say that this SD card is really fast. It's 133x. I thought it was a good deal because I thought 133x is already faster than a class 6 card. And sure enough, when I went home, the actual write speed is all the way down. It's below class 1. It's below 1 megabytes per second. The read speed was high, but the write speed was really, really low. Okay, so Fry's just changed the advertisement. Instead of using the class designation, the class designation applies to both read and write operations. But Fry's decides to advertise based on just the read speed and without indicating the write speed. And it was like a dog. It performed like really bad. Okay, so when you go to Fry's, don't buy the stuff that is packaged with Fry's own brand on it. Just go buy something that's reputable. I learned my lesson. All right. So right now we are back to the example here. When you trace an algorithm, we trace from line 1. Okay, I think I would say about 6 or 7 people did not trace every single one from line 1, so that's what you need to do, is to go from line 1. I'm pretty sure we did that in the class. Every single trace that I did in the class started with line 1. So line 1 is here. The next thing you need to do is to indicate what is the condition when line 1 involves a condition. Any conditional statement involves a condition. So now you have, oops, wrong window. Now you have to indicate, do you guys have a question? No? Okay. All right. So here you have to ask yourselves, what is the result of x is greater than 0? Is it true or is it false? Since we know that x starts with a value of 1, we know the result of this question is true. Okay? Then you move on to line 2. Line 2 is the one that changes y, and what it will do is it will update y to 0. So y here will now become 0, just like that, and then we are all done. Some people put the 0 up on this line. In other words, some people indicate to me that after line 1 executes, y would end up with a value of 0. That would be incorrect. I do not take all the points off. There are 4 points to each question. I would deduct like 2 points if someone says, on line 1, y has a value of 0. So it's not an entire, I'm not taking out all the points, just, half of the points. But it is important in this class to indicate, which line, the result of which line puts a value where, in which variable. That's important. Any questions so far about the trace? There is no need to copy the value of 1 all over the place, but if you did that, that's fine. I do not take points off when there's extra stuff on your homework. Okay? Some people also traced line 9. Okay, some people indicate we go to line 9 before we do the post. Once again, that is not a problem. Okay, there's no point deducted, even though I don't do that in the class. Any questions at this point about the first test case? No questions? Moving on to the second test case. The second test case, we have a different initial value for x. So x now starts with -5. But where do we start with this program? Line 1. Okay, we always start with line 1. This is a second test case, which means we start execution all over again from line 1. So here we have line 1. What does line 1 do? It has to decide whether this condition is true or not. This time, is it true? It is false. If it is false, we go to the next available if, which is on line 3. Line 3, once again, is a conditional statement. We ask the question again, but this time it's a different question. X is less than 5 is that true or is it false?
True.
It is true, so we go to line 4. Line 4 is going to put a 1 into y, and then we are done. Okay, remember the characteristics of a multi-branch conditional statement is when you're done with one branch, you get out of the entire statement. We do not check any additional conditions anymore. Is that okay? All right. Moving on to the third test case. The third test case says that x starts with a value of 0 to begin with. Once again, we start with line 1. Okay? Line 1 is asking the same question as before. The answer this time is it is still false because 0 is not greater than 0. Then we move on to line 3 to ask, now is it less than 5? The answer is yes, it is less than 5. Then we go to line 4. Line 4 is going to put a value of 1 into y, and we are done. Okay, pretty much the same as the previous case. And then now we have the last one. In the last one, for some reason, I think it depends on the fonts available on your system as well as which spreadsheet program you use. Some people reported to me that they saw something like that. Okay, when you see the pound symbol, it simply means that you have to make the column a little bit wider, and you can see the number again. If you see the pound, one other way to figure out what is going on is just to click on that cell, and it will tell you that that cell actually has a value of 10. So you know that, oh, okay, I just need to